Hello, everyone. I have a story that I want to share as part of my healing journey. I had a talk that I had to do, and it's called Spiritually Raising a Difficult Child. Um, I thought it would help, someone out there, hopefully more. So, again, it's called Spiritually Raising a Difficult Child. And this is my journey, parts of my journey, should I say. So first, I would like to thank everyone for listening. I believe that parenting is one of the greatest opportunities we have to grow, to love, and to learn. I also believe every one of us are already whole. And as we are finding our way through this human experience, our children are doing the same thing. Tonight, I'm not sitting here as a mother who has all the answers. I'm sitting here as a mother who has went through challenges, experienced loss, and I choose to continue to heal. And I discovered that sometimes our children become some of our greatest teachers. When I first began thinking about this talk, I kept asking myself, what does it really mean to spiritually raise a child? And the answer that I got came to me was pretty simple. Before we can truly guide our children, we have to be willing to guide ourselves. We have to be willing to be honest about what we are, and our actions, and our own journey. So this is my journey. I have 3 children, ages from 21 to 26. And today I also have the privilege of raising my 17-year-old sister after the passing of our mother. Every one of them have different personalities. They have a different purpose, and they're on a different path. Every one of them has taught me something different about love, patience, and healing, and myself. The child who has challenged me the most was my youngest son. From the time he was little, he carried this confidence as if he already knew he was great, destined for something greater. As as always, he has always been strong-willed, independent, and determined to do things his way. Now, as a young man, I still see that confidence, but I also see insecurities. I see anger, I see hurt, and I see someone who sometimes pushes people away who love him the most. He has a beautiful heart. He'll even go out his way to help people. He'll help friends and even their families without hesitation. But when it comes to those closest to him, we're sometimes the last ones he'll reach out to. There has been times he made choices that created distance between us. There have been times he's taken from me, and to avoid his responsibilities, he'll just, stop talking so he doesn't have to, take any responsibility for his actions. And for a moment, that stuff used to hurt. It used to make me angry. And if I'm being honest, today we're not talking right now. As a mother, that has been one of the hardest experiences I've had to walk through. Like many parents, I've asked myself difficult questions. Could I have done something differently? Did I miss something? Could I have loved him differently? The truth is, his story didn't begin with those choices. His father has been absent since he was 1 year old. My own story includes addiction. Years ago, I struggled with drugs. Healing myself required me to look honestly at myself, my life. It caused me to take responsibilities for my choices and began discovering who I truly am beneath all the pain. As I continue my journey, my understanding of God changed as well. I came to experience God not as something outside of me, but as something within me, as a presence that exists within all life, within all people, and throughout creation. That understanding transformed the way I saw myself, my children, and the purpose of my healing. Healing does not erase the past. Healing is a journey. It could be a long life journey of becoming more aware, taking responsibility, and choosing love again and again. I also had to accept that while I was healing, my son was walking his own journey, carrying his own experience, and discovering life in his own way. That realization changed me. Growing up, my son found comfort in church and in his faith, Jesus. As I continued my own healing, my own spiritual journey expanded. I became deeply committed to understanding myself, becoming more self-aware, learning how my thoughts, my emotions, my choices, and my relationships had shaped my life. And I began learning how to love. I had compassion and forgiveness, gratitude, and what accountability could transform into. And the way I show up for people and for myself, most importantly, but for my family as well. When I share some of these things with my son, he sometimes calls them woo-woo. He would say my spiritual journey, yeah, I don't think he understand it. Well, I know he's not fully understanding it. But yeah, so years ago, I probably would have tried to convince him. Today, I don't. One of the greatest lessons I've learned is that awakening cannot be forced. Every soul has its own path. Every person has their own timing. Every individual has lessons that only they can learn through their own experience. As much as I love my son, I cannot walk his journey for him. I cannot heal what he isn't ready to heal. I cannot awaken him before he's ready. What I can do is to continue becoming the healthiest version of my own self. I can continue loving him. I can continue holding healthy boundaries. I can continue leaving the door open. Years ago, my grandmother told me something that stayed with me throughout my life. She had told me she admired the way I talked to my children instead of simply disciplining them all the time. Even though I understood her, I still didn't fully understand like I do now. I understand on a deeper level. Children don't only need corrections. They need understanding. They need someone willing to listen before reacting. They need someone willing to explain instead of simply push away. And looking back, I realized my grandmother wasn't only talking about parenting. I realized through all that, she was talking about relationships. She was talking about having compassion for people. She was talking about meeting people where they are instead of where we expect them to be or where we want them to be. That wisdom has stayed with me throughout my own journey. One thing I've learned is that children are always watching us. They're watching how we respond when life gets difficult. They're watching how we handle disappointment. They're watching how we love. They're watching how we forgive. They're watching how we take responsibility for our own actions. Sometimes I think we believe we're raising our children, but many times they're really raising us as well. They're showing us where we're still growing. They're showing us where we still need healing. They're inviting us to become more patient, more compassionate, and more aware of what and who we are. One of the greatest gifts my journey has given me has been the desire to continue seeking truth and understanding. And as I continue to seek, I found that we are energy. I found out that we are vibrational. I found out that we are intelligent. And we are powerful beyond our wildest dreams. And the more I begin to heal, the more I begin to experience that love of what we call God, what we believe God to be, which is living and always here. It's always inside of us. It's the air we breathe. And it's one of the greatest gifts that I discovered about myself. So, one of the good books is called From God to You, Absolute Truth. That book has explained so much. And it invited me to look deeper within myself and begin to understand what loving myself really looks like. So, those teachings encouraged me to continue looking inward, healing myself, becoming more aware, taking responsibility for my own life, and understanding that, lastly, changing begins within. Excuse me. They remind me that if I want to become a better parent, I first had to become a better version of myself. That didn't mean my journey had to be easy. It doesn't mean my family has to be free from challenges. It means I continue to choose to grow. I continue to choose to heal. And then I continue to choose to experience life more free from all the pain and all the challenges that I once allowed to hold me back. I continue choosing awareness. I continue choosing love. My son may not understand my journey today. He may not agree with me. He may not even be speaking to me right now. But I still believe in him. I still see the light within him. I still believe his story is unfolding. I know it is. And while he is walking his path, I will continue walking mine. Because I believe one of the greatest gifts we can give our children is not trying to control who they become. It's becoming the best versions of ourselves while continuing to love them, support them, and believe in them, even when the road is difficult. So I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope my story reminds you that healing begins with us. When we heal ourselves, we change the way we love. We begin healing our family. We begin raising our vibration. And when we do that, it vibrates from within, and it pours out onto everyone we come in contact with. Most importantly, our children. And as we do that, they begin to do the same. They begin to do the same. Making better choices. They begin choosing love again and again. We change the way we love. We change the way the energy we we change the way we love. We change the energy we bring into our families. And sometimes that's where the greatest transformation begins. A few things this journey has taught me. Our children are walking their own unique journey. We cannot force another person's awakening or their healing. Children learn as much from our actions as they do from our words. In fact, they learn more from our actions than they do our words, if you think about it. Healing ourselves is one of the greatest gifts we can offer the next generation. Love and accountability can exist together. Healthy boundaries are an expression of love. Every challenge invites us to grow. Every single one of them. Every lesson is an opportunity to grow and evolve into a greater version of ourselves. Every challenge invites us to grow. Every relationship is an opportunity to become more aware. Parenting has become one of the greatest spiritual teachers. So this is what spiritual parenting is about. It is so simple. It begins with looking at our own self in the mirror. It begins with doing the work to heal yourself. It is okay to be uncomfortable, just a little bit, and to receive the greatest freedom of all. It starts with being honest with yourself. The only thing you can do is gain. There is nothing you can lose from learning to love yourself. It is the greatest gift you can give the world. That you can give yourself, that you can give your family, your children, your grandchildren. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for listening.